Hey there, Minnesota Vikings fans. You are listening to the Purple People podcast. We're at episode number 215. We got a special guest with us this week, Adam, don't we?
We do. Mr. Smith can't be with us. He is working some crazy hours these days, and we wanted to make sure that we could get in an episode here between the two preseason games because, Sunday to Thursday, we had to find a time in between there to be able to have enough time for a preview, but enough time where the review felt fresh. So here we are, Monday night. We're going to be talking Vikings football. Kyle West, Adam Carlson, and John John's here with us.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
You want to tell people a little bit about who you are, why you're a Vikings fan, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. I'm from Minnesota. I was raised there first 20 years of my life. Live in Daytona now. I have a girlfriend here, a wife actually, excuse me. She's a converted Vikings fan, and I have a 2-year-old son who's a Vikings fan.
Nice.
Awesome.
You are definitely not shy about posting the pictures of your whole group's love of purple, and it's so cool to see that kind of pride. We love seeing that. I'm that guy that's often out in my Vikings jacket. I had a nice pair of purple Vikings Converse that I had for a while.
Oh, nice.
It's representing those colors, man. That's what it is. It's loving your team even when you haven't been to a Super Bowl in a while, or
Right.
have never won one, or
Oh,
had awful times for a while and Love Boat and.
we don't talk about the Love Boat, Adam. We're not talking about that today.
I was like, is this a special episode?
This is a special Love Boat episode here. Actually,
Uh,
talking about classic shows, this one is episode 215, Growing Pains, because I love Growing Pains. I love that show. I love those corny 80s, 90s, family-centered sitcoms. They're just corny, and I love them. I can't help it.
It's a very clever name. I get.
We're talking about Trey Waynes and that suplex. That's what we're going to talk about this week's
That
show.
was a nice suplex.
It was nice. I liked it. We got some
Now-
big rumors this week, too, going on.
Yeah, and this week's quick hits, Mr. Kyle West had his ear to the grindstone there and heard some pretty interesting stuff.
We got a possible trade for a punter coming in from Denver. Jeff Locke on his way out, Adam. Maybe, possibly. Rumor. We need to stay that for these first two quick hits. These are rumors. So by the time this goes, when everyone's listening to it, maybe it's happened, maybe it's not happened. We don't know. Rumor. Okay.
Yeah, by the time we put this show out, heck, some of this stuff might have already happened or not happened, or who knows. But I am in the minority to where I don't think Jeff Locke's done that horrible this preseason.
Mhm.
To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to trade for him unless you're almost doing a straight up for Locke, and because I don't think that you'd get much more value giving up a draft pick to try to get Colquitt. But hey. I'm not the Vikings front office. I don't have the knowledge here. I do think that one area where Locke does need a lot of help is on his holds. He seems really inconsistent on that, but otherwise, I think the Vikings would be right to just hold still and see what they got from the guy.
You got to give him, in my opinion, a season of playing indoors in U.S. Bank Stadium. Very difficult conditions that we had when we were outdoors. And I think you got to give him, kind of the benefit here of kicking inside, of punting inside, excuse me, and seeing, what he's able to do. And if there's not really much of an improvement, now you get all of off-season. In theory, let's not use Jeff Locke a lot this season. Let's score a lot of points, let's get a lot of touchdowns and field goals, and let's not do so much punting.
Well, the special teams guys, they did completely adjust his kicking motion, too. Like, the way he's kicking this year is completely different. So when you got a guy that's trying hard to adapt, to get better, to improve the positioning, which, like I said, this preseason, I don't think he's been that bad. So I'm not ready to throw in the towel on him. I know a lot of Vikings fans are. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and second what Adam said originally. Unless it was a straight up trade, it wouldn't be worth it. But that doesn't seem to be the case because Denver actually has a 7th-round rookie. So I know that they're not just going to trade for a veteran for Jeff Locke. I think that there has to be some conditional picks there involved. So it's really, we need. I mean, obviously, when you look at our GM Spielman, he likes to keep all his picks. So I don't really see it being worth it.
No, definitely not. The other rumor going around right now is that the Vikings are looking to shop center John Sullivan. This rumor is one that isn't really a big surprise to anyone close to the podcast. We've been saying it for a while now that Berger has done a great job holding down the center. Sullivan's back issues have been a problem. When he re-aggravated it last year and had to have a second procedure done, things got really scary. And honestly, at this point, I think that with Sullivan's cap hit, Berger outplaying him, trying to shop him right now and trying to get a value on what he's worth is the best thing to do.
Definitely, he's due a lot of money. With I think it's 2 years left on his contract, and that's usually your money years are going to be the ones towards the end. For you're looking at a center that I think age is finally starting to catch up to him a bit. Injuries with the surgery, he's had back surgery. He's improved from what I've read from training camp through the work that he's got. It hasn't been much, so I think there will definitely be a market for him. I believe I read on Twitter before we went on the Chicago Bears were one of the teams that were possibly solely already. I could see him, if the Bears are willing to give up a draft pick, I think they'll trade him within the division. I like what we got with Berger. I think that he's played really well for the Vikings. He's a cheaper option. We got Nick Easton behind him at center, who's a player that I know Adam and I both really like. Potential-wise, his ceiling is incredibly high. So I am perfectly comfortable actually with them moving on from John Sullivan.
Yeah, the scary part of this is that Berger is 34 years old. They are letting go Sullivan. They've got a guy that can only hold down the spot for a year or two. But in that time, the Vikings probably do believe that they can find a capable guy to hold down the spot. And let's be honest, this Vikings team is all about finding youth, developing it, and making this team grow together. And if they can find that young center on the offensive line to establish that position, not have to worry about it for the future, that is probably their main goal.
And we talk all the time about how this is not Leslie Frazier's team anymore. In years past, Sullivan would just automatically have been inked in as the center, maybe for better or for worse. And underneath Mike Zimmer, you're seeing the willingness of the team to go, thank you, but this is the competition. We want to see really who's going to go out there and win it and be the best player at the position. And right now, it might not be John Sullivan.
Very true. US Bank Stadium had a media entrance named for Sid Hartman. It's a great honor for the gentleman who spent many years covering the team. They held a big ceremony. A lot of the Vikings people on hand for that. I was gonna say on board, but they need no boat. I guess kind of a ship.
Well, kind of. There's a legacy ship.
There is.
This stadium kind of looks like the ship. Just don't invite Bryant McKinney to it.
Oh, too many Love Boat references. Let's stop. Way too many. But it's really cool to have that honor for him. For a lot of fans that haven't quite read a lot of his stuff over the years, he still does do some articles here and there. And he definitely isn't afraid to lay down a hot take if he's got one.
We got Eric Spink with us in the chat, Adam. Eric, you're always with us. We enjoy that.
Great.
We love the consistency. He wanted to know any concern with Everson Griffin, who did not play on Sunday. You shouldn't be concerned at all about that. There's nothing going on with Everson. That's just Mike Zimmer giving him a veteran day off. There was no reason to see him. You want to look at the younger talent underneath him and see what you got. Everson has shown what he's needed to show. That's the reason why he did not play on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. When he was asked about it in the press conference after the game, he said it's just playing the side of caution, and that he knows he's ready for the season.
Yeah, let's be honest. Everson Griffin is one of those guys that he's going to be hyped up and ready to play. He doesn't need more games to get ready. He puts on the uniform, goes out there, he's ready to work hard and just demolish anything in his path.
So what do you guys think about Danielle Hunter? When do you think he's going to be a full-fledged starter? And do you think he's going to take Danielle's spot this year?
I think this is going to be more of a process for Danielle. I think he's going to keep working hard, and he's going to steal some reps away from Robinson, who might become a little bit more of a guy who can take a couple plays off here and there to keep him a little bit more fresh. And I like Robinson, I do. He's got a lot of talent in hunting down guys. He's got some great spin moves and power moves. But Danielle Hunter is just so much of a physical freak that he will keep chipping
Yeah,
into that playing time of Brian Robinson until he is a starter. And you can see that motor and that love in his eyes. And it's the same motor and love that Robinson has, but Robinson has that age monkey on his back.
This time next year, we could very well be talking about the rumor that B-Rob is on the trade block for the Minnesota Vikings.
Could very well be an option.
Yeah. I think this year, though, Adam, I think your assessment is really pretty spot on with that one. I think you'll see him taking some more time off and working in some of the younger talent underneath him.
And don't forget those NASCAR formations. You'll see him in there when they got the defensive line, the defensive end stacked on the line in pass rush situations.
Right.
And they will just be gunning for the quarterback, and those are fun to watch because just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, I love this defense. It's a lot of fun. We got another fun quick hit coming up, too. Vikings COO, Kevin Warren. He donated over 900 backpacks filled with school supplies to the Lucy Craft Laney Community School in Minneapolis on Thursday. Vikings always doing their part to give back to the community. These are the kind of fun stories that we like to spotlight here on the show because they just don't get enough traction with your major Minnesota media. So that's a really good thing that the team does that we like to spotlight.
Absolutely. I usually love writing about these kind of things over on the Viking Age. I must have missed this one because I didn't see it, but it's so fantastic to hear more of this kind of stuff happening.
I found it buried over on the Vikings website. Like you had to click on news and then scroll through everything. Like it wasn't even on the main page. So they don't even promote this as well as they should. And this is really awesome stuff that goes on. And I love
just don't want to pat themselves on the back. That's it.
Well, I get it too, but we always want to talk about focusing on the positives for the players and the teams and what they do to the community. And
absolutely.
That's a great story.
So we have had some roster cuts up to this point. Now keep in mind that this is being recorded on Monday night. There will be a lot more roster cuts coming up as the team gets cut to 75.
We got Dorian Foley in the chat this week.
I love Dorian. He's a good man.
Yeah,
one of the cuts was Melvin White. He was earlier this week, prior to the third preseason game. Otherwise, we had Brad Sorensen, the recently signed quarterback, Claudel Lewis, the defensive tackle, who had a great... His story is fantastic of his upbringing through the NFL, so I'm hoping he gets another shot somewhere. Theron Cochran, the defensive end, and offensive lineman Sean Hickey, as well as Terrence Plummer, the linebacker. The shocker here, well, maybe not shocker, but the surprise of the group was Austin Shepard, who has been a member of the Vikings for several years now, whether it was a member of the practice squad or on the main roster as a swing tackle. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with him if the team is able to stash him again, because I'm not sure if he's even eligible at this point. But
the mysterious practice squad rules that no one ever really quite understands.
Yeah, there's some formula you got to plug stuff in that I don't know.
Math, I don't know, not math. I don't know, but if he's eligible or not. I thought, fringe player for sure. Obviously, he just got cut, so he was on the fringe. But I thought for sure you would have at least seen him in the fourth preseason game before he didn't make it. So I am a little surprised that it came as early as what it did for Austin Shepard.
Well, the thing here is both of us have seen, and John's I bet has seen this as well. The depth at offensive tackle right now is really questionable. Losing Phil Lodeholt, the injury to Matt Khalil. Seeing an offensive tackle go, especially one that was kind of on the borderline of maybe he'll make the roster, maybe he won't. Seeing him being cut this early is really like a big question mark.
Yeah.
Really confused me.
With a lot of high hopes for the offensive line, and then basically we have our front five, and then after that it gets a little shaky, and it's a little worrisome. Hopefully the depth becomes something we don't have to be so concerned about.
Absolutely. I don't have the number in front of me, but US Bank Stadium did set the Minnesota Vikings attendance record for a home game. I know it was a very large number, much larger than back in the Metrodome day or the CCF Bank Stadium days. And I could look it up, but I'm not gonna.
And hopefully that's a record that we can continue to break over the course of the season.
Exactly, just like
more and more people file in.
The warning that the Minnesota Vikings could have broken the loudest crowd roar record was going around, and I don't believe it happened. I think that would have been a much bigger thing, but I do believe that is something that could happen maybe during the home opener week 1 of the regular season. Either way, it's going to be exciting to see if that can happen because, man, I've been hearing a lot of words about how loud that stadium gets.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll be there at the home opener, actually. So, anyway,
Very nice.
He's not going slow, man.
We got a good question from Dorian in the chat. He wants to know, is Chad Greenway a lock on this roster, or is he fighting for a spot like everyone else? I'm going to say that of course he's fighting for a roster spot like everyone else, but I think that he will make there's your obvious players like Adrian and Teddy that are your locks to make the team. But, everyone else it's a competition still, and even for Chad Greenway, I still think it's a competition, but he'll be back. I'm really confident that he will be.
If I were a betting man, my money would definitely be on him making the roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You never know,
I'm
though.
not much of a gambling man either.
You never know. Rick Spielman has been known to occasionally just go nuts, and, we released Antoine Winfield, seemingly out of nowhere. So,
yeah, that was
yeah, I know. So it has happened in the past.
That's true.
Where are you going to see this group chat? I have the group chat open on the side, but I don't see any members or any text.
You got to be over on the YouTube channel for the
okay.
text
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, only the moderator of the call gets to see the chat from YouTube over in his box. We have to do it the old school way.
Power.
I tell ya. Just not cool.
With all the cards. I have no cards. I can't do that. I need cards.
But John was talking about something interesting before the show.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how there were a lot of reports about the crowd being loud and rowdy when the Vikings were on offense.
That's right. Alex Boone was quoted saying, No, Teddy's so soft-spoken, we can't even hear him in the huddle. Which, okay, it's good to be excited, but we want to be an advantage. We don't want to make it so that our offense has a tough time communicating, I think.
Yeah, the plan here is be quiet when they're on offense and be loud and rowdy on defense.
Yeah.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
It's the Peyton Manning school of thought. You got to teach the fans when the offense is out there. You got to set hands. You got to be quiet, like you're in church.
I know we were inside the 20, so I know we probably got excited, but when they get into the huddle, we got to start quieting down a little bit.
And how else are you going to hear Teddy yell "Purple Rain" unless you're quiet?
Right, that's right. I should be sitting close enough to hear it.
It's tough to be quiet, though. They have a hard time when I'm at sporting events, especially Vikings games. Even when you know that you should try to be quiet when they're out there in the huddle or whatnot, you just want to just yell at them.
Yeah, it's hard not to cheer.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Now, here's something that I thought was interesting. On Friday night, former Vikings defensive end Ray Edwards had himself a boxing match in Minneapolis. He defeated Steven Tyner, remains undefeated at 11-0-1.
And the guy that he beat had 13 losses. So I should have hoped that Ray Edwards beat him. And the dude was my size.
Yeah, they fed him kind of a gimme in Minneapolis. I'll admit to that as well. The guy didn't really look like he was much of an imposing threat to Ray Edwards. But sometimes it's those little scrappy guys, man. You got to watch out for them. You never know.
More power to Ray Edwards, though. I'm glad that he's out there doing something.
He's not the size of the dog in the fight. But the size of the fight in the dog.
Right.
Kids used to be walking around school in shirts like that. I think it was Big Dog or No Fear or something. I don't know, one of those.
I remember the stupid No Fear dumbass dog on him that everyone would wear in middle school.
Yep, those were the days right there.
Well, there's a callback that you only get after 4 years of the Purple People podcast together.
Yeah, remember No Fear shirts, huh?
Yeah.
How about members only jackets? You guys love those, huh?
It went really good with my Jinko jeans.
Oh, nice, the Junkos. Very cool.
Very elementary school days.
All right, so the next one. This one is a really...
Oh my god, sorry. Hold on, I gotta cut you off. Dorian in the chat just said that when his beard grows up, he wants it to be like yours, Adam.
Oh no. This thing needs a huge shave, man. I'm looking rough, and I got a wedding I'm going to in a couple weeks. I ain't gonna pull no bridesmaids looking like this. This ain't gonna work.
Don't cut it. Don't do it. It's the stuff of legend. Don't cut it.
I took a picture of myself and it looked like my cheeks were out to here.
When do you say the wedding? No Shave November's coming, buddy. You have to.
Yeah.
Exactly, I'll have to chop it before November.
Right, so you start.
Prepare now.
Gotta
This is about
happen.
as much as I get right here. This is I'm 28, so I don't think it's coming later.
It's the color of the beard too. I think that's awesome.
The what?
It's not my beard itself; it's the color.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't see
it's
this
very
kind of
Viking-
color very often.
Viking-esque. It's very red, Leif Erikson. At least what we know of him.
Now, this quick hit was one that I wanted to talk about a little bit in depth because when I first heard about it, I thought, "Oh, this is awesome." Now, Vikings Village, next to the next to the U.S. Bank Stadium, it's going to be. They're going to have a longhouse there, it can fit about 800 people. It's going to have some family events and it's going to sell some drinks and things like that. Uh, it's going to basically be a miniature version of a tailgating session, but more of a family-oriented, team-organized kind of thing. A lot of the people that are tailgating really just don't like this idea at all. They feel like they took away a lot of the tailgating area from the Vikings fans, and now they're trying to replace it with situations where they can sell overpriced items and try to get as many bodies into an area as possible and just raise revenue and sell merchandise and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that's probably absolutely
I was
true.
gonna say that's the truth. Yeah, that's probably the reason.
But there's also the idea of being able to provide that service, even if it does come at a little bit higher cost. Because as we've said before, a lot of that tailgating going on in Minneapolis now has to happen a little bit away from the stadium, because US Bank Stadium is so much larger than the Metrodome was. When they tore down the Metrodome, they had to take a lot of that area surrounding it and try to turn that into more stadium. The lots were used to be right there for tailgating. Now they're a bit away. They had to work with some of the other businesses for lots that were available. And now, yeah, there's going to be a little hike to the stadium if you want to go party in your own lot. But if you want to do some family-friendly stuff, maybe spend a little bit extra money, the Longhouse at Vikings Village could be a good option for you, especially if you got a family and some kids. I can understand the positives and the negatives both ways. I can see why people either like it or hate it. But to me, it's cool that they're even offering it. So I don't know. No matter how you look at it, it's something.
I got the attendance records thanks to the chat room here for us, Adam. If you
Ooh.
guys are interested, 66,143 is the new record. The previous record was 64,482. That was against the Green Bay Packers on 11/2 of 2003.
Wow.
Eric's Bank, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
As for to loop back really quick on the tailgate stuff, I'm perfectly fine with having a larger stadium that seats more people and it's just a bigger venue all around. If that means giving up a little bit of tailgate space, okay, I think that's a good trade-off. As for the Vikings trying to offer, more places for people to kind of substitute that and do it inside or through the team. That's part of having a how much went into the stadium, $1 billion stadium. They got built. This thing has to make money, and so I know. Well, it's not dickish here, but I know how much fun it is to cook your own hot dogs and hamburgers in the parking lot. But at the end of the day, you do kind of got to support this thing, and if that means you got to pay $7 for a stadium branded hot dog. You kind of got to do what you got to do, right? These fans. I know that's not exactly popular opinion, but you got to do what you got to support the team here, guys.
I think it's going to come down, especially, because I'm going in September, and I think it's going to come down to the booze consumption. I'm saying because there's a lot, yeah, and then I'm serious because you look, there's a lot of food in there that I think it's kind of special. That, you got Andrew Zimmer and Canteen running it, and I'm going to be trying a lot of food, but up to the point of the game, I don't know about spending all my money on $9 beer, so I'm going to do a lot of tailgating, and then at least that way, when I get to the stadium, I could save some money. And,
Yeah, that's absolutely my plan too. I hope to go to the home opener. I haven't found a ticket in my price range yet.
we
My
would
fingers are
actually
still crossed there,
Adam.
so I'm hoping that can happen. I'm getting a lot of choppy sound on my end from Mr. Kyle West.
Me too.
So I'm hoping that that's something that'll clear up in a moment. So sorry to our listeners about that. Sometimes we just can't control how good our internet is. It'll fade in and out.
I do live in Iowa, so it happens.
Yeah, his internet is fueled by a hamster trying to get some corn, so kind of gotta look out on that. I had the window open with the ESPN stats from the game on
Sunday.
Yeah, but it's gone. I closed it out. But I do have that nice picture in the Minnesota Vikings ticket exchange group of Ryan Rhodey and his half a piece of pizza for $8.50.
Oh, that was all over Twitter. It'd be a mistake. You got to remember that this is new stadium, new concession workers and everything as well, too, for the most part. So I'm sure that wasn't meant to be that tiny slice.
Yeah, I don't believe that slice of pizza accurately represents what pizza is going to look like in the stadium. Or at least I hope not.
No, there's someone messed up on that one. We're talking about pizza.
Well, when I go to that stadium, I'm going to eat a big meal first, and I'm going to buy a drink to get a souvenir cup, because I want my souvenir cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I probably won't eat again until after I leave the stadium, because I'm cheap. That's how I work.
Yeah.
Just Adam in a nutshell.
It is. It's bad. But on to our game evaluations, because as we've said before, the show has moved on, and we are taking things to different levels. We are now on SoundCloud, and for that, to keep 4 episodes live at a time, we kind of got to keep them under 50 minutes. So we're trying to squeeze everything in a little bit more, and it's weird to say under 50 minutes because we are chatty guys. We just keep talking. I don't know. It just happens. But let's give away our Game Ball and Donkey awards. Let's start with Kyle Smith, who isn't here but still wanted to give away the awards. He said GB, which I assume is Game Ball and not Green Bay.
I hope so.
And he's given that to Trey Waynes because we don't want to give Trey Waynes to Green Bay. That'd be bad. But I think that he made a good selection there. His donkey he gave to the turf at US Bank Stadium, and that was a really awkward situation. There were a lot of players slipping all over the place. Too many injuries happening as well. I don't know if it's a problem with the turf or a coincidence or what was going on, but that was not a great way to show off that grass at US Bank Stadium. Kyle West, go ahead with your Game Ball and Donkey.
I'm going to give mine to Teddy Bridgewater, who I thought his looked just outstanding all preseason. And in particular in this game, he made 3 back-to-back-to-back passes that were explosive plays down the field. I'm just loving what I'm seeing from Teddy, and he looks like he's taking that next step and is continuing to progress for the Minnesota Vikings.
Awesome. And your donkey for the week?
My donkey, I'm going to go with Audie Cole. Speaking of progression, here's a player who appears to be stuck. Audie's been with this team for a couple years now. I feel like he should be further along, and he still seems like a liability when he's out there on defense. He'll make a good play, he'll make a bad play. He takes wrong angles. He doesn't always appear to be doing what he should be doing. I wonder if there's some freelancing going on with him when he's out there on defense, as opposed to just playing in his gap and doing what he's supposed to be doing. I don't know. I just expected more from Audie Cole at this point, for him to develop into like a potential starter for the team, and I'm really just not seeing it with him.
Do you have a Game Ball or Donkey you want to give away, John Jones?
I do, actually. I gave it some thought when you asked me to hang out with you guys tonight. I actually want to give my Game Ball to Laquan Treadwell. I know he only had that one catch, but it's what we want to see from him. Those 50-50 balls, that going up with the defender with a lot of contact, and coming down with it dominantly. That alpha dog wide receiver that we drafted, and we wanted to see that from him, even after, especially after those couple drops last week. So that's my game ball, Laquan Treadwell, and my donkey is Kyle Rudolph. Believe it or not, a couple of missed blocks there. And obviously the fumble is a standout for a reason. I know he got a touchdown, which is redeeming, but I think the missed blocks kind of is what stood out to me the most. And we were paying a lot for this guy, so I want him to be an elite, and he just seems to be a little subpar, and I really want him to step up to the higher level that we want from him.
Completely understandable. Tommy Gunn, the guy that runs a lot of our work over on the Facebook page, a regular here, we asked him to do his game ball and donkey as well. His game ball went to Trey Waynes. He said this guy made plays all over the field. Even after getting called for pass interference, he came back the next snap and made a big play. This guy was the best DB on the field on Sunday. For his donkey, he said every person who hates the new Vikings stadium. That even watching the game on TV, I had to remind myself this game was indoors. Going into the fourth quarter, the field was so well lit naturally. I was just waiting for the lights to kick on, but they never noticeably did. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to home field advantage for the foreseeable future. Now, for my game ball and donkey, I sat here for a while, and I kept trying to think, I can't pick Trey Waynes because everyone else is picking Trey Waynes. But you know what? I got to pick him anyway. I wanted to be different. I wanted to find a different guy. But in the end, I'm sticking with Trey Waynes. He had a fantastic game. There's no way to really argue with that. My donkey of the week. I want Mr. Smith or Mr. West to guess this because I bet you he knows who it is. Mr. West?
I had my microphone on mute because I was typing. I don't want to type right above my microphone for you guys. I'm gonna go probably with someone on the offensive line and say T.J. Clemmings.
Is it Matt Asiata?
Michael Griffin.
Oh,
jeez. I should have known, Adam.
Not only was he solely responsible for that Melvin Gordon touchdown, but he was out of position, and for a veteran, the way that he plays, what he was brought in and supposed to do, he is not doing any of it. As of right now, he is getting outplayed by Andrew Sendejo, and Andrew Sendejo will be the day one starter. I mean, Jaron Kearse is making a good fight, but he's still not quite ready there to take over a starting role. So it's going to be Sendejo. But keep an eye on some of these young guys, man. There's no reason to cut one of these young guys that could be good, whether it's Exum or Kearse or whoever, to try to make room for Michael Griffin when Griffin has shown absolutely nothing this preseason. And I feel like I rip on Michael Griffin a lot. He used to be a fantastic player. Man, this guy made a lot of plays. But there is that hill, that hump. And he did. He went over that hump. And coming back from that is so hard. I always want, when I don't like a player or like a signing, I want them to come in and prove me wrong. I always want that to happen. But that definitely didn't happen.
You got some people agreeing with you in the chat on Griffin there, Adam. And we also got a game ball and a donkey. We got a game ball given to Jerick McKinnon and a donkey to Alexander for being a bonehead with the taunting. That one came from Eric Stink.
Come on, you can't blame him for celebrating after that. The easy one he drops, and then like a level 8 or 9 degree of difficulty interception, he pulls it off.
Yeah. We got a couple of good questions from Thomas Buge I want to get to really quick before we go into the game recap. He wants to know, let's see, also, who would you want to get cut but won't besides Jeff Locke and Cordero Patterson? And I really don't have an answer to that because...
Well, Steve Pat would have been my answer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you picked maybe the two that I would have went for on that one, Mr. Buge. Patterson is one that, you could see him go, and it's probably not going to hurt the team too much. I don't really have. Do you guys have any answers for that one? Because I really don't.
Not really. I mean, What do you guys think of Matt Asiata? I feel like his average is about 2 yards a run. I'm not sure like his place anymore with Zach Line. I'm not sure his role anymore.
Well, that was the reason why I think the Vikings waited so long to sign Asiata back.
Mhm.
And the fact that Asiata didn't get a lot of other bites in free agency kind of does say a lot about his position in the NFL and with how valuable, how the teams value running backs, especially thumping running backs. And we saw when it was McKinnon and Asiata how they worked well together, but when Adrian Peterson's around, that's not really necessary. And I do think that the Vikings will be looking at some other guys, whether it's C.J. Ham or Jarrell Presley or one of these other guys. I think that one of those guys will get stashed on the practice squad this year, and they will hope that he can take over next year in spot of Asiata, but there's no rush there, I don't think.
I think Asiata's role with the team is that he's good in pass blocking. You
Right.
can put him out. Yeah, you can put him out there. He's going to fill in for that.
Sneaky receiver in the backfield, too.
Yeah, as well, too. It's just no one covers him because no one thinks he's ever going to get the football. The little Zach Line mentality there, too. You just never cover him, and then he's open for like 20 yards.
They get the touchdown every time he touches the ball twice.
Yep. But I like Asiata. I like the role that he fills for the team.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the performances here. Teddy Bridgewater, 12 for 16, 161 and a touchdown. Rating of 127.3. Really an excellent performance when he came out. A lot of his incomplete passes were either throwaways or passes that were just right there. If it wasn't the preseason, I do believe that Kyle Rudolph would have probably dove for that one pass.
I agree with that, actually. It was right there.
But I think that laying yourself out in the preseason, the risk just isn't really there worth it, especially for a guy like Rudolph, who I hate to say injury prone, but he's missed a lot of time with injuries, and that's a scary situation for a guy like that. Joel Stave came out 5 of 6, 66 yards. He was sacked twice, but he ended up with a quarterback rating of 112.5, just like Sean Hill, who had the same quarterback rating, completed one pass for 11 yards.
Stave looked like Stave doing Stave things. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy to look at this and see that Bridgewater threw 16 passes, but Stave and Hill combined threw 7.
Yeah, that should show you the faith that they have in these backups right now.
It's not good. It is not good.
No.
Does that include the the 2-point conversion for Sean Hill?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And that was a good little fade pass.
It was. It was right where it needed to be.
Mhm.
Running the ball, Jerick McKinnon averaged 7 yards a carry on 8 carries for 56 yards. Jarrell Presley, 8 carries, 23 yards. Let's talk about that Teddy Bridgewater run there where he was breaking some ankles.
The Teddy juke. You got
I
juked out
firmly
by Teddy
believe at the end of
Bridgewater.
that run, you look at Teddy's face and you saw the one guy between him and the goal line, he was getting ready to plow that guy over.
If it was regular season, he was plowing through him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He was not sliding there if that's regular season.
Teddy don't slide. We've discussed this.
And if
Teddy
you're
don't
Christian
slide.
Ponder, you slide head first.
I still say, Adam, that had to have been a joke. Where Bill Musgrave was like,
He was
yeah,
doing
Christian.
it. He was
He's
doing it.
He's like, yeah, Christian, slide head first. And then he did it, and they were like, just don't tell him. Like, we can't not tell him at this point.
I still can't believe that was a serious thing. That blows my mind.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Not me. Not me.
Teddy,
CJ Ham kind of didn't have a fantastic game this time.
Mm-hmm.
9 carries, 21 yards, 2.3.
I want to make one more point really quick on Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
This kid is more athletic than what people want to give him
Absolutely.
credit for. No, he's not Michael Vick. No, we shouldn't be running Wildcat formation with him because we shouldn't be running Wildcat to begin with. And I don't want to see a lot of like read option stuff, but when plays break down, Teddy has all the ability to go out there and to make people miss and to make plays happen, with his legs out there. So,
well, he's got the brain too to know
athletic.
where the room is, which is awesome. He can see the field and he can see where things are opening up.
Mm-hmm.
He knows his speed. He knows if he can get there for the first down.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of intelligence. Cordero Patterson's one play for negative 6 yards there was not great.
No,
Cordero
that
Patterson
was
and you know what they're running.
I
He
I
was stuff back there, and it wasn't even a question of if, it was when.
That was
How many yards was he going to lose?
No, I agree. Whenever he's there, it's always a tech play. Even when he was there, I told my friend who was a Charger fan, and I'm like, okay, we're going to do some kind of sweep. We're going to do something with him. He's not going to go out for a pass. And then, again, it's very obvious. So I have to agree with you on that.
And I tried last week to sell Cordero getting, more playing time on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out and he does this, and it's like, well.
But
well,
you know that end around and he picked up 20, 25 yards, you'd be here saying, see?
Yeah, I'd have been spot on and been see, he needs to be on the field.
But the stats has a touchdown, right?
Yeah, you got the touchdown. So hashtag fantasy points from Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, hashtag fantasy points.
Yeah, just the way
touchdown.
Just the way you draw it up.
Attacking a touchdown from picking up a ball in the end zone. Just ridiculous.
That's the way we planned it.
Yeah, just the way they drew it up.
Did you tweet that, or was that in the group chat? I don't remember, Adam, but you had a really funny comment where you're like, finally, Cordero Patterson not running routes and just standing around has paid off.
He stopped running in the end zone. He was watching the play, and the ball landed right in front of him.
You're like, oh, touchdown.
Touchdown, there it is. Diggs ended the day with 5 catches for 71 yards, and while we're talking about Stefon Diggs, this kid has some of the best awareness of where the sideline is that I have ever seen. He knows where he's got to tap his toe. He knows how he has to slow down in order to be able to do it. Bridgewater has so much confidence in him being able to do it that it's just awesome.
He actually almost got my game ball because of how many catches he got for the first down for us. And then something I like about Diggs that you don't see a lot is his elusiveness in the open field. He makes people miss more than, embarrasses them. When he did that dig route and made 2 people fall in front of him, that was pretty cool. And he does that all the time.
Yeah, that misdirection stutter step kind of thing where he just made everybody freeze.
Yep.
That was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Rudolph, 3 catches and 5 targets for 56 yards. Jarius Wright caught 1 for 26. Charles Johnson 2 for 25. David Morgan is a sneaky guy to make this team and actually contribute on a regular basis, just because of all the different things he can do in the offense. I've talked about him since he was drafted, about how he is a guy that can excel when asked to do anything, whether it's blocking, fullback work, or whatever. He's going to find a role on this team, and he's going to excel.
A really good chance that he makes it over top of Red Ellison.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Which sucks because I love Red Ellison. He's a good player. He's an amazing person. But there's some good competition going on there in tight end. And this is going to come down to the wire for Minnesota as to who they pick.
Very true. Very true. Joel Stave, 2 fumbles on the day, lost 1. Not a great performance there. He might have been accurate through the air, but his tendency to hold onto the ball way too long and not be able to grip it. One time he was just completely blown up on his right side and had no chance. So that one wasn't really fair to blame on him. But the offensive line, when you get down to the second and third teams, not doing great. Birthday boy for that day, Justin Trato, led the team in total tackles with 5, 2 of them being sacks, and 1 nice big quarterback hit.
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel Lemur was a guy that I considered for my game ball, just because he was everywhere on the field. Audie Cole, 3rd on the team in tackles, basically because he played a lot. Let's talk about those Clemson defensive backs again, though. Jaron Kearse, Mackenzie Alexander, both with interceptions again.
Love it.
It's really exciting to see these young guys come in and get this kind of stuff done. I keep talking about how much I love Mackenzie Alexander, and you guys are probably sick of it. But the big surprise here for me is Jaron Kearse. When he was drafted by the Vikings, I thought, wow, this guy is a project. He's going to take a couple years on the practice squad. It's going to take him a long time to get things working. And do you know who else I said this about? Danielle Hunter.
Anthony Barr.
If the Vikings can develop this guy the way they've developed those others, he's going to be good.
Remind me again, Adam, what was the knock on Mackenzie Alexander? No interceptions.
No interception.
Oh, he's only had 2 of them in 3 preseason games.
But you dropped that one, Bumbleitis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Butterfingers. I always think it's funny how whenever one thing happens to strengthen someone's argument, they point at it and yell, see, then everything else just gets completely ignored. So much fun.
How about one of my favorite plays of the game? Anthony Barr just ate a dude for lunch out there on the field. That was amazing.
He did.
Who was that? Danny Woodhead? He just devoured Danny Woodhead. Anthony Barr is amazing. That's my Pro Football Focus analysis ranking of him.
Speed, power, athleticism. If you had one of those charts of Anthony Barr, it would just be huge.
It's like you cheated on Madden. You made like a player.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Like that. He's one of those Madden creative players that's like a 99 overall that you made. And
right, exactly, 99.
Just not even natural. People don't. That just don't happen. Harrison Smith. Let's talk about his interception for a minute because that one was fun as well. It was a pass that came in. Trey Waynes bats the ball up in the air, and just like during normal practice, great tip drill, Harrison Smith there, ready to grab it. And that is the way that teamwork is supposed to work. I know a lot of people don't like how physical Trey Waynes can be at times, but he's starting to understand when he can be physical and when he can't. We did see that one pass interference penalty, which was not good. But other times, that physicalness, his ability to get in there and just interrupt everything else that wide receiver is trying to do, it's going to make a big difference against a lot of wide receivers.
No, I agree. I'm all in with Trey Waynes. I'm ready for him to take the starting job.
And we say it every week. Trey Waynes, starting with Rhodes, opens up Newman to float around and do whatever he does best. This is a situation where everybody's winning. And let's be honest, during that preseason game, Newman was matched up against a guy who was 10 years younger than him and runs almost twice as fast. And Newman still did what I consider a pretty good job considering that he was just absolutely mismatched.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good stuff.
Hey, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, go ahead.
We're going to talk about the suplex, Adam. We've got to talk about Trey Waynes given the suplex out there on the field for the Vikings. Now, I know the other week we just got done ragging on, who was that? Exum for throwing the forearm in the guy's head and getting the flag on it. And you can kind of say, well, how can you hate on one person for doing that? And then actually, I'm going to say that I like that physicality from Trey Waynes. It's because Trey wasn't being beat on a play and then, came out from someone from behind and tried to push him out and hit him upside the head and do all kinds of dumb stuff. Like, he was making a tackle, and it just ended up being a really freaking physical tackle, and he suplexed a guy. And I am going to venture a bet that Mike Zimmer likes that he would rather have a player that would, finish someone off in a hard physical way like that than to not make a play or to release and let them, continue running and, maybe turn it into a big play because he didn't finish your guy. I like that. Like, I guarantee you the guy that he just did that to for the rest of the game was thinking about that. He was thinking about that play. So I like that physicality. That's a good thing to have.
Let's talk for a second about kick returns. Because the interesting thing here was one of the rules that was changed was on a kickoff, a touchback brings you out to the 25.
Mm-hmm.
So with Trey Waynes now, when he not Trey Waynes, but with Cordero Patterson, when he brings the ball out of the end zone, and he still gets to about the 22 or 23, at what point during the regular season does it not become being worth the gamble to try to return those?
I was following this on Twitter really quick, and they were actually saying that the amount of returns has actually gone up
Yeah,
with
during
this
the
rule.
preseason, but will it
Yeah,
actually work that way during the regular season? Because like during the
I
preseason, how
don't
we've seen an
know.
increased number in the an increased 2-point conversion chances, it's
Mhm.
just because they want to try it and see how it works out. You don't want to take a knee in the end zone in the preseason game because you want to see how taking the ball out of the end zone works. But I don't know if we're going to see anywhere near the same amount of people coming out of the end zone when you can get the ball at the 25.
Mm-hmm.
It'll even itself back out. That's what I think.
I think the increased number of people taking the ball out I think right now the charm of that is the pop-up kicks.
Mhm.
Make kickers think, okay, or make kick returners think I have a much better chance now, because before people would just boot it out of the end zone because they were going to get it at the 20. Now they're actually going to kick it to me. But the problem is that with the extra hang time and everything, they don't have the same kind of opportunity to take it to the house. But it'll be interesting to watch how this works out because essentially there is a pretty good chance that this could eliminate the kick return position entirely.
You mean Cordell Patterson's position?
Pretty much.
Just saying, just saying. So that's all I've got for this game. Next week, week 4, this is some people call it the scrub game. I hate calling it that because, as I always say, these are guys working hard to make the roster. They're putting the final touches on their resumes for other teams, trying to pick up any kind of steam to make another roster or to start an NFL career. These are guys fighting for their livelihood and their dreams, and to call it a scrub game to me is just very disrespectful. But this is the time when the team will weed out the guys that they want on their roster and the guys that didn't quite make the cut. And I always hope that they can catch on somewhere else, whether it's a practice squad, CFL, Arena League, whatever. But uh, to me, these games are the ones where you'll see some of these guys fighting the absolute hardest you'll ever see. And yeah, it won't have the star players that you love to see. You won't see Adrian Peterson. You won't see Teddy Bridgewater. You won't see a lot of the big stars. But that's okay, because it's still going to be Minnesota Vikings football. And once this game is over, we're going to have the regular season right around the corner. And guess what? Because those big stars didn't play these games, and the Vikings made it through the preseason games relatively unharmed. I mean, not a lot of huge injuries. It's gonna be all right, guys. It's gonna be all right.
I always look forward to the 4th preseason game because you get to see the guys that are going to fill out your roster, the little spots, your special teams players, your guys that are going to be your backups. Like, this is where you get to see the finality of what your team is really going to look like. And a lot of times, it does come down to injuries that you can't predict, and all of a sudden you're relying on decisions that you're making, that the team is making right now, could come back to either help you or harm you midway through the season. So it's either an instant or you gain, even if it's not going to be all that exciting of a game to watch on TV.
I love when Kyle West goes into robot mode. It's fun.
It's fun.
Because you keep wondering if he's going to do some does not compute.
You think Corey Wooten sack dance?
No, do we know if the game is being broadcasted nationally? 'Cause
I
know
don't believe it's a nationally broadcast game. I don't think so.
Find it. Let's see what you guys know.
But if you have made it this far into the season without using your 1-week free trial of the Game Pass, go sign up for your 1-week free trial, watch your game, and cancel your subscription, and you can watch the preseason game. That was my plan since I had the other games at my house. Did you see the prices for the preseason packages, though? Oh my goodness!
I have Sunday tickets, so preseason I get through it. I'm not gonna add anything
Can
extra.
you believe you have to buy another package to watch preseason games?
It's silly.
They should just give you preseason.
It's really
For the
crazy.
price that you pay. Yeah, the price that you pay per Sunday ticket, they should just give you. Like, and here's a free T-shirt and like a Hungry Man TV dinner and like a bunch of other stuff. Go with it.
I agree. It's absolutely insane. I had a buddy. He's like, "Hey, do you want to get like a Sunday ticket and we'll split it?" I looked at the price and I said, "No, it's too expensive for me to even split."
Yeah.
If you switch DirecTV, if you don't have DirecTV, they'll give it to you free the first year. and then next year they'll want to keep you. So you can work with them. You really can. That's kind of what I'm doing. I need Vikings before that.
The process of trying to negotiate through that. So if you can do that, that's awesome. Me, I'm through Charter Communications, and they don't offer nothing. Actually, I'm getting my television for $2 a month, so I can't complain too much.
There you go. Was it Cody Box?
No, well, I have that too.
Yeah. Of course you do.
All right, that's all I really have for this week. I did want to throw in a hot take from Tommy Gunn. He said a lot of teams have improved this offseason, but who will take the next step? He says that in the AFC, that team will be the Oakland Raiders, who will finish with the number 3 seed. And I'm going to be this guy. I don't think that take's that hot. The Oakland Raiders have a lot of talent. They could be a very, very good team this year. I do want to remind people, head on over to Yahoo Sports Fantasy, sign up for the Purple People Podcast Survival League, League ID number 241. The password is SKOL, SKOL, all capital letters. You can hop on in there, you can win some cool Vikings prizes. I already have some of the prizes here at my house, and guess what? I'm ordering some more prizes because I don't think it's enough prizes.
All right.
We're going to keep getting some prizes. Mr. Kyle West has some prizes he's going to throw in.
Yeah, I got some cool framed photos that we toss it in there. And we got some good stuff coming for you guys.
My girlfriend and I have already signed up. So
awesome.
And it's absolutely free. We ain't charging you guys nothing. Last year, we asked you guys for contributions for our Podomatic. This year, we covered it ourselves, but we still want to give back to you guys because our community of fans is awesome. And I wanted to go off on one other thing. Just like I don't know how to present it, but a lot of the other podcasts right now are out looking for these special guests that are big names in the
Vikings
sports world. Some people go out and they're getting a guy from the Star Tribune or the announcer from the Vikings or these bigger name guys. We are a podcast by the fans for the fans. This is what we do. And yeah, we probably could have went out and tried to approach someone from the national media or something to come be on the show. Instead, we go out and we find guys like Kyle Smith, who's become a regular on the show. We go out and we find guys like Tommy Gunn, who was a regular commenter and really enjoys the work that we do. We bring guys like Johns onto the show, and Megan, and the guy from Minnesota Vikings memes. These are all just guys that are fans just like us, and that is what we're here and what we're here for. We aren't here to make a splash in national media. We don't bring in big names. We are fans for fans, and that's what we're going to be.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this, we are 4 years running with this podcast, and it's not that, a lot of times we're correct on stories, and there are times that, we're wrong, because everyone's wrong, no one's right 100% of the time. But a lot of this stuff, man, you guys listen to us, and between me and Adam and Kyle Smith and some of the other guests that we have on here, man, we hit the nail on the head a lot on this show, and we need to give ourselves, I think, some credit for that. You also reminded me, Adam, of you reminded me of a project that I am working on, where I am asking all of you guys, all you fans out there, I'm going to do this for all season long. I want you guys to send in your photos of the stadiums and photos of you tailgating, of whatever you're doing at home in your Vikings gear, with your friends, your family, whoever. Send them in on the Facebook page, tweet them to us at Purple People Pod, and at the end of the season, I'm going to put together kind of a cool video package, kind of as, for showing the fans of the Purple People podcast. So go out there and have fun with this, send us in your best stuff, and it's a fun project. I'm looking forward to it. We got some good submissions for it.
Absolutely. We're always open for recommendations. Johns has thrown us a couple that we've implemented over the years. We've had some cool ones from Dorian Foley and others that have just helped us make this a better show. Moving to the live format, we love that we can interact with you guys during the show. And, man, we are loving the changes, and we really hope to get those 100 subscriptions. on YouTube so we can go to YouTube Live. That is what we want to do next. But that's all we have for this week. I want you to remember to check out down below here if you're watching on YouTube, I got the bar down here. We got the vikingage.com. Kyle West has his Kyle West photography down below on him. John Johns doesn't have anything there, but you can send in some love.
Can I plug my Florida fan club?
Absolutely.
Central Florida Vikings fan club. It's a mouthful, but we actually have a bar in Orange City. Any and all Vikings fans are welcome to join. Anybody in Florida definitely is encouraged to join. We meet in just east of Orlando. It's always fun to watch Vikings games with other Vikings fans. So it's been put together since the middle of last year. We got 70-plus members. We usually get 30, 40 people on any given Sunday to hang out. So Central Florida Vikings Fan Club on Facebook. If you want to add us, we'll definitely accept you whether you're from Florida or not. So feel free to add us.
Even if you got a Packer jersey and a cheese hat on?
I do filter some.
But on that note, check out my work too over on Undead Walking. I like to talk about zombies. I like zombies. Good stuff. And feel free to send us a message over on Twitter at Purple People Pod, Facebook. We're always trying to get interaction on there. We have been slacking on the social media question. We're going to try to do better there. But I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.